passed on their way here, both in the streets and in this very palace, standing proud and alert, swords at their backs and knives at their sides. Even now, he resisted the urge to glance to where he knew they'd be stationed in the hall, exactly where he would have positioned his own men. Where he himself would undoubtedly have been standing, monitoring all, while emissaries from a foreign kingdom arrived. Nesrin met his stare, those ebony eyes cool and unblinking, her shoulder-length black hair swaying with each step. Not a trace of nerves flickered across her lovely, solemn face. No inkling that they were about to meet one of the most powerful men in the world, a man who could alter the fate of their own continent, in the war surely now breaking out across Otterlin and Terrasen. Chaol faced forward, without saying a word. The walls and pillars and arched doorways had ears and eyes and mouths, she'd warned him. It was that thought alone that kept Chaol from fiddling with the clothes he'd finally decided upon. Light brown pants, knee-high chestnut-colored boots, a white shirt of finest silk, mostly concealed by a dark teal jacket. The jacket was simple enough, the cost of it only revealed by the fine brass buckles down the front, and the glimmer of delicate golden threads skimming the high collar and edges. No sword hung from his leather belt, the absence of that comforting weight like some phantom limb. Or legs. 2 tasks. He had 2 tasks while here, and he was still not certain which one would prove the more impossible. Convincing the Khagan and his 6 would-be heirs to lend their considerable armies to the war against Erewhon, or finding a healer in the Torre Chesme who could discover some way to get him walking again. To, he thought with no small ripple of disgust, fix him. He hated that word, almost as much as the clattering of the wheels. Fix. Even if that's what he was beseeching the legendary healers to do for him. The word still grated, made his gut churn. He shoved the word and the thought from his mind, as Nesrin followed the near-silent flock of servants who had led them from the docks, through the winding and dusty cobblestoned streets of Antica, all the way up the sloped avenue to the domes and 36 minarets of the palace itself. Strips of white cloth, from silk to felt to linen, had been hanging from countless windows and lanterns and doorways, likely because of some official or distant royal relation dying recently, Nesrin had murmured. Death rituals were varied, and often a blend from the countless kingdoms and territories now governed by the Khaganate. But the white cloth was an ancient holdover from the centuries when the Khagan's people had roamed the steppes and laid their dead to rest under the watchful open sky. The city had been hardly gloomy, though, as they traveled through it. People still hurried about in clothes of various makes. Vendors still called out their wares. Acolytes in temples of wood or stone, every god had a home in Antica Nesrin supplied, still beckoned to those on the street. All of it, even the palace, watched over by the shining pale-stoned tower atop one of its southern hills. The Torre. The tower that housed the finest mortal healers in the world. Chaol had tried not to look too long at it through the carriage windows, even if the massive tower could be seen from nearly every street and angle of Antica. None of the servants had mentioned it, or pointed out the dominant presence that seemed to rival even the Khagan's palace. No, the servants hadn't said much at all on the trek here, even regarding the mourning banners flapping in the dry wind. Each of them remained silent, men and women alike, their dark hair shining and straight, and each wore loose pants and flowing jackets of cobalt and blood red edged with a pale gold. Paid servants, but descendants of the slaves who had once been owned by the Khagan's bloodline. Until the previous Khagan, a visionary and firebrand, had outlawed slavery a generation ago as one of her countless improvements to the empire. The Khagan had freed her slaves, but kept them on as paid servants, along with their children, and now their children's children. Not a single one of them appeared underfed or
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.